Now let's open our browser and then move to search for GitHub, right? So here I'm already on my GitHub.com. So if you don't have it already, make sure that you have the account. I spoke about that in the previous videos, that you should have the account, right? So if you have the account at the start, you may not have any repository here. Nothing will be found here, right? It may not be look like my own, but then, so here we have a new button here, called a green button here called the new, right? So you click on new. So what we are going to do is to create um is to create how do I call it, um a new repository. What do you mean by repository? It's like a project folder, right? The entire project should be in a particular folder. So you need to come to GitHub and create the folder, create the project on it. This is the approach I recommend, right? You go to GitHub, you create the project from the GitHub. Before you send it, you make a copy of that project on your own machine. So here we are on the remote, right? So let's click on new, right? So what should we try? So here we need to enter the name, right? This is your username, right? Your GitHub username. But then here you have to enter the name of the project, right? Let's call it test. Let's cut smaller there. Test underscore or test git lesson. No, let me use small letters, right? Test underscore git underscore lesson. But make sure that for you it is the name of the project, right, that you are creating. So that repository is just, it's like, this one is like the name of the folder, the name of the project should be here. Now we go here, description. Let me just enter some description. So if you have any descriptions, short description about your project, you can put it there. Then should it be public or private, right? So you can make it public or private. By default it is public, meaning that every person can access that has the link, can access your GitHub, or anyone that visits your GitHub account can be able to see that particular repository or that particular project. So it's a public repository or public project. But you can, if you make it private, you usually send it to private first, right? So you are working on your own project. So only the people that you allow will see the project. That's what the private means. For public, nobody needs a permission before accessing it. But for private, basically, yeah, all it means, you have to give access to the person before the person can see this project. Now, to add README file, right? README is a file that basically, let me tell you that it contains the whole description, what the project is about. So you have to go and add a README file. README just tells the person that is visiting the project, right? So if you go to a project and then you are given a project and there's a README file, that file is telling you to read me. The file is telling you read me, means that you need to read it to understand the scope of the project, what has been done, how to go about running some stuff. So it gives you detailed information about the project. That's the readme file. So it's a file that you add. So we are going to add that basically, and then git ignore. Yes, should we add some git ignore? We'll go into the concept of git ignore later, but right now we need to add it. So basically, right now I'm going to do Python, right? I'm going to do it in Python. So I'm going to select a Python readme git ignore that is containing a structure, a default structure for Python. We'll talk about git ignore in later lessons, right? No license yet, so we're now going to create the repository. So I'm clicking on creating a repository, and it will be ready for us. Okay, so you see right now, this is where you will see. So here at the top here, top tab here, you see some tabs at the top here, right? Now we are currently at the code side. This is where you see at the actual code. So you have initially it's called initial commits, right? You started the project. So you see the two things that are inside are the git ignore and the readme file that you added. Only those two are currently part of it, or part of this, right? And then this is the remote. This is going to be the start of the project. You see, test git lesson, some description. So the readme file is showing this thing for now. So it captures these two immediately, and then they put them here. Fine. Now So this is what you will see. There are other places like issues, pull requests, action, projects, security settings. We'll talk about those ones later. But right now, we are interested in creating a repo and getting the particular project on our own machine. So right now, the project is ready on our machine. Before we go into our own side, I want you to pay attention to this particular main. You can click on the arrow. Right now, it's a branch, right? We call it a branch. I will explain branches right now. Right now, you have only one branch. You can see only one branch here. Right, this is the main branch. So so it's going to be the main. Let's keep that in mind that there is a main branch that this one is going to work on. So let's go to our own desktop. So on our desktop, we are going to right click. Let me refresh first. So you right click and then you go to show more option. But if you see have it already there, it's fine. Then show more option. What am I going to do? Let me make it big. So I'm going to say so we need to actually make a copy of the project that's outside, right? So we go back to our this place, right? You come back here. Let's come back here. We forgot something, so let's go back. So you need to see, you see the code side here. There's an arrow. Click on that arrow here. Remember, we are on the code tab, right? It's different from this code one. So the code that you see on the side here, click on it. Then you see HTTPS, SSH, and GitHub CLI. So right, so you ignore all these things. So we are interested in copying this particular URL. So you can copy it here to copy the URL. But me, I'm using SSH, so I will go and copy this one. I'm going to copy this one. But you, because you haven't set your SSH yet, you need to copy just this. Copy this one, the HTTPS one. But if you are some way somehow have your SSH set up, then you need to go and copy this. So me, I'm copying this one. But you, I recommend that you copy this one for now. So now let's go to our home. Yes, so now we come back here. So here we are going to have a copy. We are going to clone the project that is on the remote. We are going to clone it, meaning that making a copy of the project on our own local machine. Where we came from is the GitHub platform. It's a remote, it's on the internet, it's somewhere on a hub. But on our own machine, we want to have it locally on the offline version that we'll be accessing every time, right? So now we need to clone, make a copy of that. That's the term that we use is clone. Anytime you are going to run a command related to Git, anytime you are going to run a command related to Git and GitHub, you're going to start with Git space, then the commands will follow, right? So here we are going to clone the first. So here you need to start taking note of some of the commands that will be coming on your way and what they do, right? So git clone, yes. Now git clone this, right? And we remember we copy some URL. So git clone, then we are going to copy, paste that URL. To paste that URL, please don't press Ctrl V. Don't press Ctrl V. Go there, right click and click on paste. Click on paste and you will get it there. That's the thing that you copied. For this key, don't press Ctrl V. Just right click and paste it there. Anytime you are pasting, do right click and paste. Don't do Ctrl V in this terminal. Now let me enter. So it's cloning, right? So we are cloning it right now. So now it is done. It is done. Everything is done. Everything has come. No issue, no problem. Everything is received 100%. Okay. So for now, we are going to close this particular terminal. Now let's look for what we just cloned. The name was test, right? So usually when the things come, I should have created a new window, but then let's just work with this, right? There are a lot of things here. Where is that test thing that we clone right now? Where are you? Where are you? Um, don't hide from me. Don't hide from me. This is another. This is not. This is not you. It's not you. It's not you. Yeah, you are here. I found it. It's here, right? So let me open it. Make it bigger. So you see, we made a copy. So you see that the readme and the .git ignore that we have on the GitHub, you see that they are appearing here. Yeah. So that's the clone. We have made a copy of that on our own machine. So yeah, this .git here is not, it's going to stay here right? Because it's going to help us keep track of changes, keep track of changes, keep track of changes. GitHub is a version control system. So the Git tool allows you to keep track of the various versions that you'll be working on, right? So currently, this is what we have, and then we've been able to clone our project locally. So right now, we have safely created a project on GitHub, and then we have be able to clone it locally on our own machine, right? So in the next session, we'll see how to now start working. Now that we have the clone, how do we now go back? How do we go back to the GitHub? How do we move back to the GitHub by sending a project there, right? Then can we see how things are done?